Hey guys, what's up? It's a Silent Reviews here, coming at you guys with another video for you today, and this is gonna be our Monday Night Raw review, SmackDown review, NXT 205 Live. We're gonna get all these reviews up today. I just didn't have time at all. I didn't have time at all this entire week to do any videos for you guys. I've been so busy lately. I came back from a trip in Florida. I had a great time seeing my aunt again. It was hard leaving her too. Poor thing. But yeah, I'm back officially. I was only gone a week, but it's been like literally a week since I uploaded a video. So, and I don't usually wait that long to upload again, because like I said, since the new year started, I wanted to be active as much as I can for you guys on the channel. I don't plan to be gone for that long. If I have to, then you'll know why. But I mean, there's really nothing going on. It's just had a little vacation. But yeah, so I'm back. We got Monday Night Raw to talk about, and this was the first Raw after the shakeup that happened last week. And yeah, this is being recorded on a Sunday. I wanted to do it yesterday, but I had other things to do yesterday. So we're going to do everything today. So you'll be seeing back to back. So this will be one, SmackDown will be the other, and then the rest, NXT 205 Live. And then I might do another one of those news and rumors videos, because I've seen like a lot of shit to talk about regarding certain individuals like Sasha Banks, Dean Ambrose, some other people, but we'll see what we can do. See if I can find any more news, and maybe I'll do another video for you guys there. But yeah, so let's talk about Raw. So Triple H kicked off Monday's show, wasted no time introducing Universal Champion Seth Rollins. The Beast Slayer, Iowa's hometown hero, hit the ring to a thunderous ovation. Rollins acknowledged Triple H's decision to hold two triple threat matches, with the winners facing off in the main event to determine the new number one contender for the Universal title at Money in the Bank. United States Champion Samoa Joe interrupted the proceedings. We knew Samoa Joe was going to Raw, but he didn't make it last week because he was sick. But he's on Raw because Balor's on SmackDown. You can't have two mid-card titles on one show, because that makes the other show look bad. The Destroyer discussed being the dual champion until Rey Mysterio interrupted. Then out comes Drew McIntyre, The Miz, Baron Corbin, and finally AJ Styles, each having a few words for the superstars. Styles promised it would be him versus Rollins at Money in the Bank. Unfazed, the new champion said it did not matter who he faces because he will burn it down regardless. We've seen all the new faces on Raw gunning for the same prize, but it felt like a lazy way to introduce the top contenders for Rollins' title. Yes, they get the superstars on television for those who have missed last week's show, but nothing was really accomplished here beyond what Triple H announced moments before Rollins made his way to the ring. It felt like a complete waste of time, and that is hardly how one wants to kick off a relatively significant show like this one. Two triple threat matches, and then the main event, those two winners, they face off, and then they face Rollins and Money in the Bank. Like, that is just lazy, typical booking, man. I don't know why they can't do another thing, like, because you got to talk about the Money in the Bank ladder matches as well. For tomorrow's Raw, Alexa Bliss will be doing a Moment of Bliss, and she will be introducing everybody in the men's and the women's Money in the Bank ladder matches. Again, don't know why they couldn't have qualifying matches like they did for the Chamber. I don't understand that at all, but just typical WWE lazy booking. So, but I mean, the Money in the Bank matches, they never disappoint. They're always going to be good. So, and it's probably going to be a stacked card for that match. So we get into the first triple threat match: AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe. This was a fucking hard-hitting match, and this was just great. I really loved the back and forth between all three of these guys. Mysterio and Styles mixed it up very, very well. I enjoyed what they did. And then Samoa Joe, of course, he did his thing. It was great. In what would have been a dream match as early as a decade ago, three of the best wrestlers of their generation, Mysterio, Styles, and Joe, squared off in a triple threat match to kick off this week's show. Late in the contest, Mysterio fired off a seated senton and crucifix bomb for a 2 count as Styles broke up the pin. Styles was then dumped to the ringside in short order. Mysterio tried for the 619 on Joe, but Samoa Joe dodged it and applied the Coquina clutch. Styles interrupted with a phenomenal forearm attempt but found himself trapped in the same hold. After more back and forth, Mysterio blasted Joe with the 619 and tried for a springboard. He flew right into the arms of Styles, who caught him with a nasty powerbomb, hoisted him up back up, and delivered another powerbomb, this time onto Joe. A third lift ended in the Styles clash onto the prone U.S. champion, and the phenomenal one scored the pinfall victory. Man, I literally love every spot they did in this match. I mean, there was really so much that they did. I can't even remember all of it. But, yeah, the ending was just fucking insane. The way Styles hit that Styles clash on Mysterio onto Joe was just beautifully done, and it was just great. I would love to see more of Styles and Mysterio, because that was just freaking amazing. This was a hell of a free television match that saw each superstar spotlighted before Styles' impressive, aggressive finish. The phenomenal one was the obvious choice to go over here, as Styles is poised to be one of the biggest stars on the Red brand. While it is unlikely he squares off with Rollins so soon in his run with the brand, a win here established him as one of the top faces of Raw going forward. Furthermore, Joe looked like a monster, and Mysterio continued to showcase his incredible athleticism at 44 years old. Props to Ray. Most importantly, all three stayed involved throughout the match, avoiding the tired formula of one superstar powering on the arena floor while the other two battle. So, it was great. Then we get into a boring match with Naomi and Billie Kay. This lasted not even a minute, literally 40 seconds, I think. I wasn't really paying attention to this. 1 week after jumping Raw at Superstar Shakeup, Naomi squared off with one half of the women's tag team champions, Billie Kay, blah, blah, blah. And then Naomi wins here. She proves that she can succeed on her own after a year of teaming with Asuka and Carmella is a nice touch. But this feels like an excuse to find her another partner and challenge the Iconic for the titles. This was a match for match sakes, a little in the way of storyline advancement and no time to develop. So, it was pointless. The other triple threat match that they had, The Miz versus Drew McIntyre versus Baron Corbin. Now, right away, when I heard that they put Miz in with these two, I knew right away that this was going to be a handicap match, pretty much throughout. But surprisingly, it didn't actually end up being the way you would expect it to be, and it actually ended up being a triple threat match. McIntyre and Corbin did beat each other up, thank God, because I would have not want to seen just Miz fight him off himself. The second triple threat match for the evening saw Miz, Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre battle for the right to square off with AJ Styles in the main event. A heated back and forth match saw Miz survive an early assault to fire up and unload on McIntyre on Corbin, delivering a springboard double axe handle and a series of kicks about the body. McIntyre cut him off through and tried for a suplex attempt. Corbin interjected himself and instigated a Tower of Doom spot that downed both opponents. Late in the match, though, Corbin recovered from a blind charge into the ring steps and tried for the end of days. Miz escaped and delivered a DDT for a close 2 count. He dumped Corbin to the floor, but ran right into a Claymore kick from McIntyre. Out comes Corbin, taking McIntyre out of the ring, and he steals the win. So now we're getting Baron Corbin versus AJ Styles in the main event, with the winner facing Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship and Money in the Bank. I was actually surprised that Baron Corbin won this match. I thought they were going to give this win to McIntyre or Miz. I was rooting for Miz. I would have loved to see the Miz versus Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank, but I mean, it wasn't going to be McIntyre if had Corbin not get involved. But again, I'm already tired of seeing McIntyre and Rollins. I don't want to see that, at least for not for a while. But Miz and Rollins would have been a very, very fresh match, as we know what these two can do in the ring. Last year at Backlash, they had that incredible IC title match, and it was just literally the best match of the entire card, because every other match in that show sucked. But this was the match that kicked off the show, and it was just fucking beautiful. I loved it. The Miz versus Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental title at Backlash 2018 or 2017. I don't even know. I think it was 2018, but it's definitely a must-watch if you haven't checked it out. It sounds strange again, but Corbin had the most momentum coming out of the WrestleMania, so him going over here makes the most sense. Should he defeat Styles later in the show, it will likely infuriate fans tired of his character, but as a placeholder, Money in the Bank, where the real challengers will compete for the right to cash in whenever they so please, it's essentially no harm, no foul. McIntyre still looks like an unstoppable beast of a competitor, losing only after his finisher led to the pinfall. Throw in the oddity of Miz firing up as a babyface, something we have not seen in 6 years, and you have a match that was tons of fun, fresh, and told a quality story. Sami Zayn addresses the WWE Universe. Zayn hit the ring next, ready to address the WWE Universe's accusations that he is bitter. He said that he has been the only one with the guts to call out the fans for what they are. He relived the 10 months of his life away from the ring and how it was the happiest time of his life. He then showed off photos from vacation and claimed his return to the squared circle brought about depression and anxiety. Not because of the guys in the back or their enormous egos, but rather because of the fans. He said he's going to hold the WWE Universe accountable for telling the people of Des Moines, Iowa to take a field trip to hell. Now, again, this is Sami Zayn, his absolute best. We know what this man can do on the mic. He's one of the best on the mic, next to his best friend Kevin Owens, which we'll talk about Kevin Owens, because he's the main thing to talk about in WWE Week. This is Sami Zayn's absolute best. Unloading on the fans in a wholly unique and fresh way, in which he criticizes them for their lofty expectations in online trolling, has created a heel character unlike any other on the show. You need a top not babyface. You need a top heel on the show. Because who else is going to take on Rollins in the future? Unless they're going to save whoever it is he ends up fighting at Money in the Bank. I mean, we already know, but I'm not trying to spoil myself here. But yeah, he needs more credible heel contenders, and Sami Zayn would be one of them. So would Robert Roode. That's a thing now. We'll talk about it when we get to it. Zayn has expressed what is likely his real frustration in a way that generates consistent heat, unhampered by chance of what or boredom. He sucks the crowd in, elicits the reaction he desires, and delivers the exclamation point at the end of the promo to great effect. He's been the undisputed highlight of the show since his return, and his evolution is one this writer is more than excited to watch. Cedric Alexander versus Cesaro. This was a fresh match. We gotta get new matches like this more often, man, because this was great. Cedric's first match back on Raw in over 2 years. Cedric made his Raw brand debut. It wasn't his debut because he was on Raw 2 or 3 years ago. When the Cruiserweights first came back, he was on Raw. But so he made his re-debut battling Cesaro in singles competition. Swiss Superman was drafted to Monday Night Raw while Sheamus was still on SmackDown, and Sheamus is apparently injured. That's why we haven't seen him in the past couple of weeks. But they split up the bar, and they split up Sanity as well. The Swiss Superman, a late addition to the Red Brand, earlier in the afternoon grounded Alexander. The former Cruiserweight champion fought back and delivered a big Michinoku driver for a near fall. He delivered a nasty kick to the back of the head and wiped out Cesaro at ringside following a high-risk dive. But back inside, Alexander tries to the springboard, but Cesaro caught him dead in the freaking face with a mid-air uppercut for the win. It's a great match there. This was a hard-fought match to showcase both men's athleticism, but the outcome was what stood out the most. So much was made for Alexander's rival on Raw, including two video packages highlighting his abilities, that it was interesting to see him lose clean to a guy who wasn't even supposed to be a part of the Red Brand in the beginning of the Superstar Shakeup last week. We all know Cesaro is an elite in-ring competitor. We know what this man could do in the ring if he's given the opportunity. But I guess now he's a single star again, that we will possibly be seeing Cesaro maybe get that push we've all been wanting for so long. That's if they turn him back into a babyface. And if this win leads to an extended push, good. If not, the booking here was curious at the very best. Lucha House Party versus the Viking Raiders. Yes, they were the Viking Experience last week. Or my bad, they were the War Raiders in NXT. They got called up to the main roster with no titles. They didn't even have their titles on them. Yet when Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa made their Raw and SmackDown debuts, they had their NXT North American title and the NXT titles on them. So this makes, again, I don't understand the logic of that, but okay. So the War Raiders get another name change. I guess Viking Experience wasn't what they wanted, and it was just ridiculous to hear that. But the Viking Raiders, that's what they're called now. They're not called the War Raiders, they're called the Viking Raiders. I don't know why you just can't keep War. And yet they're still like calling Ember Moon the War Goddess on SmackDown. So why can't they refer to them as the War Raiders on Raw, just like they do in NXT? Like, why? That's just dumb. This match never even got started. Lucha House Party made their entrance in the ring, and then while the War Raiders, while the Viking Raiders made their entrance as well, they just brutally attacked Kalisto, Grand Metalik, and Lince Dorado, and they found themselves in the receiving end of a brutal beating at the hands of Eric and Ivar. A double powerbomb down Kalisto and Dorado before the Viking Raiders finisher left the ladder down out on the mat. The current NXT Tag Team Champion stood tall to close out this segment. I can't refer to these guys as Eric and Ivar. Hanson and Rowe. Hanson and Rowe are badasses who can dominate and destroy anyone. That was the takeaway from this one. And the Lucha House Party was the perfect babyface team to put on the receiving end of the beating, and in that the trio can bump around and make the newcomers look that much more impressive. Hopefully we're not subjected to weeks of beatdowns like this, and instead we get to watch the Viking Raiders wild with their incredible agility and athleticism, especially Hanson. Becky Lynch versus Alicia Fox. I don't know why Alicia Fox is back on television. I don't know why. She's just terrible in the ring. She's very, very boring, to say the least, and just, I don't want to see her at all. She's just boring. But Becky came around Monday, entering the arena to a thunderous ovation, like always, because it's fucking Becky Lynch, the man. Becky Two Belt said she has made a career of smacking down blondes favored by management, and Lacey Evans is no different. Out comes Lacey Evans, and she vowed to take both titles at Money in the Bank. Alicia Fox music played. Her match with Lynch was underway. An aggressive Lynch took the fight to the floor, but Fox turned the tide and dropped the man. Back inside the squared circle, Fox scored a near fall, but Lynch soon fired off with a comeback and tapped her out to disarm her right away. After the match, Evans immediately entered the ring and knocked out Lynch with the woman's right, not once but twice, and she walked off with a chorus of boos. There's really nothing to the match. But the segment was more about putting heat on Lacey Evans as a heel, as a legitimate contender to the Lynch's title. And for the most part, it was successful. Getting over the women's right is a smart move on the part of the booking team. It is that rare finisher that can be hit from out of nowhere, adding credibility to Lacey Evans. It also creates a scenario in which Lynch must watch out for the finisher, perhaps opening her up to further attack and maybe costing her the title. The potential stories to be told with the context of a match just because of the over the strike, which WWE Creative has put over strongly, are limitless. Also, Becky is very easily the best babyface from the entire roster right now, and it was on full display here. She's an asset WWE Creative will be very smart to keep available on both shows while she is at her hottest. And then it's been made official that Lacey Evans will be taking on Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's title at Money in the Bank. Ricochet versus Robert Roode. Heard me right there. Robert Roode. He's no longer Bobby Roode, he is Robert Roode, and he's got a new, fresh look. If you remember, Bobby Roode was in TNA. His original name was Robert Roode when he was a heel and he still had his long hair, and he was coming around wearing the long robes as well. He was referred to as Robert Roode, and this is actually a name change that I don't mind at all, because Robert Roode is his real name, if you didn't know. Bobby Roode is not his real name. It's Robert Roode. So he doesn't have the beard anymore. He shaved the beard, but he kept the mustache. Looks like a porno stash. But yeah, so he took on Ricochet. The newly repackaged Bobby Roode now competing under the name The Glorious Robert Roode and sporting a quality mustache squared off of Ricochet in singles competition. Alicia Black was drafted over to SmackDown Live. He was on Raw, but something happened. We'll talk about it on the SmackDown review. And Ricochet is on Raw. So they're split up. The one and only Stun Roode had dive heading into the break, but it was the former NXT Tag Team Champion who wrestled away control of the bout, grounding his high-flying opponent. Ricochet mounted a comeback, capitalizing on Roode's hubris to season opening. Roode cut it off as the action continued back and forth. Late in the match, Roode tried for a glorious DDT, but Ricochet countered and delivered a TKO to a knee to the face for a close 2 count. Ricochet tried for a 630, but Roode rolled out of the way. After sending his opponent into the corner, Robert followed with a glorious DDT for the pinfall victory. Now again, this don't even say, since Ricochet lost his first match on Raw, don't even come out and say that Ricochet's buried. This is just a way to build up Bobby Roode, or Robert. I gotta get used to saying that. This is a legitimate way to build up Robert Roode as a legitimate heel on Monday Night Raw. We all been wanting to see this man turn heel since NXT, or since he's made his way to the main roster. We want to see that NXT Bobby Roode, that dick Bobby Roode, who just doesn't give a fuck about anybody but himself. The one who's talking shit to his opponents and then talking all sweet about their moms, just like we did with Roderick Strong in NXT. Or his wife or whatever. Who the fuck? I don't even fucking know. But still, this is the Robert Roode we need. Been wanting this one for so long, and now he's finally getting his opportunity to shine as a heel on Monday Night Raw. This is another contender we could possibly see Seth Rollins fight for the Universal title down the road if they build up Roode to the best capability that they can. Now, the interesting booking decisions continues. Yes, Roode is talented and deserving enough of a reboot. He deserves another push to prove himself, but why start at the expense of Ricochet? Again, he's not buried. This is just a way to build up Robert Roode. A little loss for Ricochet isn't going to do anything bad to him at all. He's still going to be shining as one of the top stars on Monday Night Raw and in WWE in general, because it's fucking Ricochet. They're not going to ruin Ricochet. Are you kidding me? The only way they'll ever ruin Ricochet is if they change his name to Rico or Rick. Then that's just fucking ridiculous, but they're not going to do that. So, Ricochet, yeah. Up until Monday, the one and only appeared unstoppable. His athleticism and fearless aerial assault had him rolling. Now, without Aleister Black by his side, he just suddenly loses to a guy who was an afterthought heading into WrestleMania. Why? Because Robert Roode has a mustache now. With literally everyone else but Ricochet busy. Then we get to this very, very bizarre thing. I don't even know what the fuck this was. The Firefly Funhouse. Bray Wyatt, who we haven't seen in God knows how long. Bray Wyatt looking better than ever. Man, he really, really found himself in a new way. If you're what Matt Hardy threw him into the Lake of Reincarnation a while back, this really, really helped Bray because, wow, he's in great shape. Probably the best shape I've ever seen him in. He lost a ton of weight. He put on a hell of a lot of muscle, and the long beard that he had, he trimmed it to the Husky Harris beard, and then he also I don't think he cut his hair, but he kept the braids, or not the braids, the dreads. He kept the dreads, and he put a little ponytail in, and I guess he kind of dyed his hair as well. So, very, very new repackaged Bray Wyatt here. I don't understand what this was, but it could be leading up to something interesting, to say the least. Bray Wyatt returned to television as the host of a Blue's Clues-like children's show called The Firefly Funhouse. Wyatt creepily addressed the WWE Universe as if they were kids and said goodbye to his former self, hacking a cardboard cutout with a chainsaw in a surreal image. That right there just leaves you questioning as to what the fuck is WWE doing with Bray Wyatt right now. But it could get better. If they give it a chance, it could get better. The segment also introduced the buzzard puppet and creepy doll from prior vignettes, leaving the WWE Universe dumbfounded by what is just witnessed. Now, was this absolutely absurd? Hell yes. Was it an improvement on whether WWE Creative was doing with Wyatt the last time we saw him? Of course. Now, it's too early to decide whether this will be a success and finally bring Wyatt to the level of stardom his charisma is deserving of. But one thing is for sure, the writers and the performer himself have put in the work to make it a success. Whether it strikes a nerve going forward is the question. If not, then Wyatt and CO could be back to the drawing board much sooner than expected. So we'll be looking forward to see what they're going to be doing with Bray Wyatt. I might just have to talk about that in the news videos and the news and rumors, because this is just very, very newsworthy thing for Bray Wyatt. So we'll see what happens. We get to the main event: AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin, with the winner taking on Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank. The physically superior Corbin worked over Styles, dropping him across the guardrail, heading to the final commercial break of the night. The former Raw general manager dominated the action, grounding Styles and mocking him as he dealt a beating. Styles mounted a comeback, and after some back and forth, he tried for a Styles clash. Corbin fought out of it, kicking his way out of the hold. Styles answered back, countering and ended Day's attempt with the calf crusher. But Corbin made his way to the ropes and fought off the desire to tap out as the match continues. AJ, though, was a relentless pitbull of a competitor and eventually delivered the phenomenal forearm to score the win. And after the match, Seth Rollins made his way to the ring and engaged Styles in an intense show of respect and a handshake to close out the show. So now it's been made official. AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins for the Universal title at Money in the Bank. I have serious issues with this. Why? This is the number one dream match I've been wanting for so long. Ever since AJ Styles came to WWE, Styles versus Rollins, that's the dream match I've been wanting for so long. And I don't understand why they gotta do it this early. Now, we all know what happened with AJ and Cena. This was a dream match as well when they started feuding. And then we got their first match of Money in the Bank. They're doing the same thing here with Styles and Rollins. The only thing I worry here is it going to be the same effect that we saw with Samoa Joe and Shinsuke Nakamura, where they're just going to have match after match after match after match, and then it's just going to bore everybody to the point where you just don't want to see this anymore? I don't want to be saying it about these guys. These are the top two baby faces. These are the top two superstars you have in WWE right now, AJ Styles and Seth Rollins. You cannot fuck this up, WWE. You can't. You can't have them fight literally back and forth. Okay, they're going to fight at Money in the Bank. Sure. All right, fine. I still have a problem with that because they're just bringing it way too early. They could have easily saved us for SummerSlam or for next year's Mania, but they wanted to fucking bring it out this early. And the one thing that I realized is when I watched JD's review on Raw, he mentioned that All In, Double or Nothing, it's literally the week of Money in the Bank. It's a day away from Money in the Bank. So I guess what WWE is trying to do here is they're trying to fire back at AEW by having such a stacked match, such a must-see match like AJ Styles and Seth Rollins. Again, they're worried. They're obviously worried about AEW being a successful brand because we know AEW is going to be successful regardless. I mean, do you see the fucking amount of talent they have over there? It's insane. Jericho, so many other guys. I mean, look, I could literally AEW roster, just to name a few. Let's see. We got Pac. We got Jericho. We got who else is in here? There's 48 competitors so far signed to AEW, All Elite Wrestling. Let's see here. Adam Page, we know him from Ring of Honor. Britt Baker, Adam Cole's girlfriend. Chris Jericho, of course, we mentioned that. Christopher Daniels, Cody, Kazarian, Joey Janela, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, Jacob Friedman. I don't know who that is. Oh, MJF. Okay. And then we also got Pac, aka Neville, Penelope Ford, Scorpio Sky. I'm not familiar with him. Billy Gunn, Jungle Boy. I don't know who the hell that is. Phoenix, and I think Pentagon. Yes, Pentagon Jr. as well. We also got Jimmy Havoc, Adja Khan. I don't know who the fuck that is. Yuka Sakatsi. What? Yuka Sakatsi. I don't know who the hell that is. Sunny Rose. I don't know who the hell that is. Sammy Guevara. Don't know. Kylie Ray. That sounds familiar. Nyla Rose. Some of these people I don't even know. Chucky T. I literally don't know these people. Trent Beretta. We know him from WWE back in the day. Kenny Omega, of course. Brandon Cutler. I don't know. Kip Sapien. Bea Priestley. Michael Nakazawa. Ace Romero. Ali from TNA. Alex Marvez. Look, that's pretty much the roster right there. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be more superstars to be signed to All Elite Wrestling, but you get the drift here. You get the point. I'm very, very concerned about this. I really don't want to see them do this where after they fight in Money in the Bank, it's gonna fucking continue at the Saudi Arabia show, and then it's gonna go at Extreme Rules, and then it's gonna go at fucking whatever else it's next, SummerSlam. Like, I don't want to see that. If you're gonna do this one match at Money in the Bank, fine. Just keep in mind, do not let this drag on and on and on and on and on and on and on. I don't want to say that with Styles and Rollins. I've been wanting this for years. We're finally getting it. Sure, okay, I'm happy about it. I'm just not happy at the way that they're booking it. They're just rushing it way too fucking fast, and I don't like it. I hate it when WWE likes to rush all these dream matches right away just so we can see it. You don't have to keep doing that. Matches like this need to be saved for bigger shows like SummerSlam, like WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series. Those are the 4 main shows. And you're going to put it on Money in the Bank? WWE is clearly afraid of AEW. They're clearly afraid of All Elite Wrestling being a successful brand. They really got to step up their game here. If you want them to succeed, WWE, if you want to succeed, WWE, you cannot just keep rushing all these big matches. Like, why? I don't understand it. So, I mean, that's my little rant about this match. I mean, yes, I'm excited for it. There's no doubt these two are gonna put on one hell of a show, one hell of a match. We know that. We know what AJ Styles and Seth Rollins can do in the ring. We know that, but I'm just worried that it's just gonna keep dragging on, and I don't want to say that because hopefully they're not gonna do that. But yeah, guys. So that's your Raw review for the week. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, favorite, RKO the like button out of nowhere, and tap the bell for notifications to get my future uploads. And I'll be back in the next few minutes or so for the SmackDown Live review, which we got a lot to talk about in that one as well. Mostly about Kevin Owens and Kofi Kingston. We'll talk about it in the next one. So I'll see you guys then. Too sweet.